And we're going. Hello, welcome to the final word for Summercide 2019. I am Callum, also known as Antonio Everett, also known as Doc Green without the world title, also known as Paul Pugh if he liked more than 2% of the OCW related content that he watched. And I am joined by a very special guest.
Specialist.
The current ex-champion. We'll get into that in a little bit, I think.
I have been advised by my legal team to begin referring to myself as the light heavyweight champion.
Okay, you're light heavyweight champion. Spider, how are you doing? You
Hello.
Okay?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be
keeping
on.
that
I'm keeping it nice and dirty and gross.
I was gonna say, are you keeping it nice and warm for me?
I don't know. We'll see. Cobra has that match has been announced. Cobra has me at September to remember. So let's see if I can keep it.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit, but I think what we'll do is we'll start with the beginning of the show, which was the P3 Bonanza with Drago, Mugen. Yeah. I mean, P3's never really been the Bonanza's never really been my sort of thing, to be honest. Yep. But it's obviously always going to be entertaining. Like, what do you think?
Oh yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I was actually a bit of backstage. Mugen was talking about not being on this P3 for the pay-per-view because he was going to do the Summercide RPs, which we can talk about later. But I told him the Summercide RP is it's separate. It's a different Mugen. You don't have to worry about it. So I'm glad he ended up doing it with Drago because with football starting up, I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, I will say with Drago, it's kind of seemed a little bit out of place for me because he's obviously going into a main event with Nate Ortiz, and he's at the start of the show now just kind of messing around being typical Drago. I would have probably liked to just see the RP that he did later in the show, which was the more serious side of Drago, which I really enjoy, because when you have a guy like Drago that basically never loses, it's always nice to see that side of the I'm gonna actually kill you because I don't like you, rather than the messing about. But you can exactly. It's always this is always gonna be part of Drago's character, always has been. So I mean, a lot of people seem to enjoy it. I do like it from time to time, but sometimes I feel like it gets a bit long. But it's P3 Bonanza. It's gonna be good writing. Pretty much.
And it's always entertaining.
And then.
Is the key. It's always entertaining, which is the key.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Speaking of entertaining, or more entertaining than I thought it was going to be, I think we'll get into the opening match, which was La Estrella Fugaz versus Blaine, which I really didn't have that much expectation going into this match. Both women are obviously alt, so I thought it's probably one of the matches on the card with. Actually, I was going to say with the least amount of heat, probably the least amount of interest. There was obviously a pretty decent storyline going into it with, obviously, Fugaz basically trying to prove herself to Blaine. And I feel like the match really actually fits that story that they were trying to tell. What did you think?
Well, I'm going to preface this final word by saying I really don't watch week to week. What I'm going into the match with what's on the web show and what the story the match is telling. And this was a very
Spider doesn't read the weekly shows. There you go.
No, it's true. I'm not going to pretend, but I mean, this was the way they put it together. I really didn't need to watch weekly. The story was right there in the match, which really, really helps. It's a big deal. You could tell Estella was coming in to prove something. She was the underdog, and Blaine is Blaine. She's the big powerhouse. She's like the new school Bertha. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I think even Jake said on commentary this was Fugaz's second win on OCW, which actually adds to the I suppose importance of the win. I wasn't interested in the Fugaz character going into the match, but I'm definitely more into it now after watching this. Out of 5, I gave this 3.5 out of 5. I was going to give it 3 stars, But that finish with the red arrow from like basically halfway across the ring was like really, really nice. I was like, that's a pretty cool finish, and like it's very unique. You don't really see many people in OCW using top rope finishes, so that was actually like really cool for me to
really
watch.
Hard to hit. I used to have a top rope finisher, and I had to switch off it because I never hit it.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I'm actually opting for a different ranking method than you. I'm not going out of 4 like you, but I'm gonna rank. There are 7 matches, not including my own, and I'm gonna rank each match, and this is probably number 5 for me.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
But that's not a knock on this match, but all the matches on this card are so good. Like it's hard to, it's definitely not a knock. This is a good match.
Yeah, this was a very good show overall, I think. So going into the segment after that, there was a Valkyrie basically saying what she always says: fairy tales, criminals, a cheeky little swear word because she's edgy. I mean, it's just kind of standard Valkyrie. Not really much to say.
I think being a face is hard, and Valk is making the best of it for sure. But it's so hard. I've tried being a face, and I just failed utterly and completely, and I just went back to being Spider. But
I think
Valk. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think there's a way you can portray a babyface to like, you don't have to always be a good guy. Valkyrie is very much for basically her entire career has been the squeaky clean, like white meat standard babyface, and that's actually for me that's probably her best character. I'm not particularly into this edgy side of Valkyrie. I hate the whole women's division. No one's gonna step up pretty much. But that in mind, to be fair, she's done all she can with it, and I can see why she's taken a character in this direction. So fair play. I mean, it's always going to be good.
You have to keep it fresh for yourself. That's a big deal. Yeah. And I think Valk is very much speaking to how Valk feels about the division, because right now, just judging by what I see, there are very few people that can really step to Valk in terms of the women's division. So I think Valk is just calling it as it is.
I mean, when you look at the Valkyrie Empress match, like it looks like Empress is going to be basically facing her again, which kind of it shows how good Empress is. It shows how there's nobody there to step up and become the next contender, really, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, so after that, I think we had the first installment of the Sensational Time Splitters, which I've not had any experience with, but by the sounds of it, it seems like it's kind of like a Summercide tradition. Would you say that?
Oh yeah, this is the 5th year we've actually done it.
Yeah.
I was talking about it with Jay the other day. I was surprised. We hadn't kept track, but I actually looked back and I checked, and this is the 5th year we've done it. It's just it's a fun little thing we do.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was very similar to like the P3 Bonanza in that like it very much was a contrast to the tone of the rest of the show, really, with like Drago being involved. Is Drago in this? Is he really involved in this, or is it more Mugen? By the looks of it, it's going back over. I think it's more Mugen, but like in terms of like you have a lot of gritty like important matches, and then I suppose the contrast it's a nice change of pace. I think I'd probably say.
It's meant to be the sort of I don't know. I'm forgetting the word. I had the word right on the tip of my tongue, but it's like the break from the show.
Yeah.
It's like, almost think of it like a commercial.
Yeah. It's just pretty solid writing. Not much more to say really at this point. And then I think we have just immediately following that, we have the triple threat between Salami Kane, The Last Blacksmith, and Thomas Archer for the international title. I thought this was a good match. I actually had a lot of fun watching this. I missed this match initially when it was first being streamed, but I watched it back in the morning.
Oh, the live broadcast?
Yeah, I watched it back in the morning, and I really liked it. I like the interaction between
the way they work the match.
Yeah, like especially between Salami Kane and Blacksmith. Obviously the history's there, Salami Kane obviously came out and attacked Archer pay-per-view previously, or one before that on Consequence, I think.
Yeah.
It wasn't obviously as extreme as we're used to seeing with Blacksmith, but there were some nice moments. I think the first one that definitely springs to mind is when I think it was Salami Kane hit a superplex, or maybe it was Blacksmith the other way around. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But then Archer just went straight for the pin. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, that got a big pop in
Yeah.
the viewing party. It was slick. I really liked it a lot.
Yeah. And then Salami Kane picked up the big win, which I was quite surprised at, to be honest. Like, we've got another rookie champion amongst our ranks. Welcome to the club. For now,
I think it was definitely well earned. I mean, they built to it. It was a good. I think it was the proper ending to this whole arc.
Yeah, I think the thing about Kane though is he's coming off a bit of a losing streak. Whether he'll be able to keep the title or not, especially I imagine we'll get a Thomas Archer rematch. Whether Kane will be able to keep it is it's his responsibility. But I will say one thing: Salami Kane definitely needs a makeover now he's got a title belt. There's no more excuse.
No more excuse to be the school shooter champion.
Pretty much, I would say if I like the unique look of Salami Kane, but I think you can have that like kind of skinny kid look and then also have a believable like attire, I suppose, and just like look about you where it looks like you actually are worthy of being champion. Like, you look at Archer's attire. I think Thomas Archer's attire here was on point. I really liked his attire. The green attire with the trunks instead of the tights. I think it was much nicer. It was much a cleaner look for him. So I think Kane just needs to get that treatment. He needs to get a bit of a makeover, and I think he'll be good to go because he's proven he can definitely hang amongst the upper mid-card ranks in Turmoil, which I think they definitely need another presence in there. I think Turmoil is very top heavy at the minute with like Malu and Rex, and they're pretty much the only...
I think having that Brazil is really going to help Salami Kane out.
Yeah,
I think you can't overstate that enough. The Brazil is huge, so that should help him out a lot.
Yeah, I was also quite surprised to see somebody actually dethrone Archer as well. I gave this match a 3 out of 5. Where'd you put it?
This was probably number 6, but only because I don't think multi-mans are great in this game. I put it behind the Fugaz and Blaine match, but they did a really good job with it for sure. Like, that's again not a knock on them. I personally just don't like multi-mans in this iteration of the 2K games.
I'm not surprised, to be honest. There's a lot of room for improvement with multi-mans that they could definitely help. They could definitely help us out as handlers. I think. I think we can talk about that during the tag team ladder match.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to another promo backstage with Ty Sparks and B17. I really like this partnership. I don't know how much you've been keeping up with it on Riot or anything.
So this has been, I've just been hearing B17 talking like on the Discord, but I know this has been going on for a minute, right? B17 working with Ty.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. It's very much like Ty Sparks is the babyface, basically being led astray by B17, and B17 kind of exploiting Ty for his naivety. But
it's actually pretty funny. But back when B17 first came in, Mugen was the B17 to his Ty Sparks. So it's sort of a full circle almost. I think that's really neat.
Yeah, I like that a lot. It'll be. I'm very excited to see where this partnership goes, especially with the need for tag teams in tag division. It'll be. I think.
I also think Ty. Just from what I understand, from what I've seen, he sort of needed this kind of direction.
Yeah, especially
this kind of structure.
Yeah, especially after losing to Thomas Archer at Consequence, I think it definitely helps him out a lot.
Not just that, from what I've heard from other people, he's sort of just out there. He just does his own thing with the tires and doesn't really. This will add a bit of focus for him.
Yeah, I would agree. So I think that's pretty much all we can say about that. We can move on to the second part of the Sensational Time Splitters. It's pretty much the same. You can probably just go and read the show. really much just standard. Whatever we said before, we can say again. It's obviously funny.
Yeah. It's nice to get some Dupree on the card as well.
Yeah,
I know he shows up a little later, but
Mm.
any Dupree segment is a treat.
Yeah, exactly. I would agree. Then we had a thing between Stacey Clark and H2O. H2O for some reason is somehow in a relationship with Stacey or something by the looks of it. It's kind of like, yeah,
not the first superstar to try it.
yeah, I suppose, yeah. It's just like, yeah, this again, H2O saying H2O things where it's more like
he's sort of on the low, trying to put over that he's got a new look.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it until
the actual show.
Yeah,
the match.
Exactly. Like, what? In light of the match, if you had seen this first, you would be like, "What is he talking about?" Because of the watching the viewing party, you know that's exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah, I would agree. We can talk about the new look right now for H2O. Like, what do you think about it?
I think it was a little sudden. I think he should have changed the face first and kept his attire throughout the month, and then rather than dumping it all at once, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he's had the new face for a little bit. I think after Consequence,
Has he? Has he? I wouldn't know. Like I said,
yeah.
I don't watch really week to week.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of hard to tell with H2O, especially because like his face is. It was a default face, but it didn't really look like one.
Yeah.
But like now, he actually looks like a human being. So I quite like the new look. I think it's gonna take some getting used to, especially with the short hair.
Yeah.
I think Jake.
That's the big thing.
Yeah, I think Jake mentioned on commentary as well that it's kind of like a throwback to his rookie year. So I think that's it. Maybe that's like I'm reading too into, but maybe it's some link to Doc Green being a rookie and H2O and Doc and whatever. But I'm probably reading too much into that. But like, I think it's a good look. I think it's a nice change.
It was a good look. I think any backlash or any apprehension people had was just because it was so sudden. It was a shock almost to a lot of people.
Yeah. Pretty much. I think that's pretty much what we can say about that for now. I think now we've got
oh no,
the Spider, the legendary Spider, versus AC Cobra for the light heavyweight title. Well, what? I mean, I know there's been quite some issues with this match. I think you could say there's a lot of discussion about this. I will say, I think I agreed with like Doc on this point, Doc Green. He was saying in the discussion chat that like it very much feels like a lot of what myself and Cobra built over the past few months has pretty much been devalued. I wouldn't say that's anybody's fault. I wouldn't say that's your fault, because obviously you just played the match how you play it. But like I think he said something about like how Cobra was needed to show this like serious side to himself, like that would definitely come out with my feud with him, and there wasn't, especially on the build up to this match, there wasn't really that serious. Actually, it seemed like he just kind of dropped it and went back to his old ways, which I was hoping the character development would have stayed, because I think that would have made a much more compelling Cobra character. But obviously with his stuff with like Jay and like the writing was good. It was funny. I laughed quite a few times.
But it wasn't what you were expecting. Yeah, I understand.
But I mean, yeah, there's nothing you could have done about this match really. Cobra hit the like, what is it called, like the Cobra May Cry, the GTS on you.
Yeah, and he got to take a nap.
Yeah, and he got the rope break. That
Yeah, no, while we were playing the match, I was telling I think it was Drago. Drago was in the chat with me while I was doing the match.
Yeah.
And when he picked me up, you can tell he turns it into the ropes. If he had just stayed where he was, he would have had me like away from the ropes. And I was doing like, I don't know if you see the meme with the football player, I forget his name, with the question marks next to his head. That was me while Cobra was turning into the ropes. I was like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
But it could have been a complete, because I don't know if I would have kicked out if because I'm really bad at I can kick out or I can't. So
yeah, I mean, I think
could have been a
I'm very
completely
similar in
different
that sense.
ending.
Yeah, well,
But,
I mean that's just how it goes sometimes. That's comp, you know. One week Cobra can beat me in a match. Next week he loses to Spider. That's kind of AC Cobra in a nutshell for you. So
yeah,
I don't know what we expected, to be honest.
I think he can. I think he can. This was I can't say enough. This match was a lot of fun to play. It was Cobra's great to work with.
Yeah,
but
I'd agree.
I think he can sort of play into the character development.
Oh yeah.
Maybe because he fell into the more jokey Cobra, that's why he lost. So.
I could.
There's definitely room to work.
Yeah, especially considering he's got a chance to bring it back. He's like not. I wasn't expecting him to get a rematch, but he's clearly got a rematch. So, Cobra, you've got one chance, I suppose. And don't waste it, because you know. I was really hoping this was going to be a decent reign for Cobra, but it was a good few weeks while it lasted, and hopefully, you know, I'll definitely be rooting for him to get it back, but you know, whether he does show the character.
I'm trying to make it easy to root for him.
Exactly, and I think Spider's a great character for that, because he's very easy to hate. Like, he came out dressed like a superhero, basically taking the piss out of the entire title, pretty much.
Oh yeah.
That's
always been my MO.
Yeah, and I gave this match 3.25 out of 5. I think in ring it was solid. I just wasn't happy with the way it ended, really.
It played out.
But I will say the Spider special roll up, you know, you've always got to look out
for
it. Like,
it was perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, just the story of the match, like, I pulled out everything, the sleepers, the Colossus, everything, and then I'm just going to roll them up. I thought it told a great story.
Yeah, I would agree. 3.25 Newton by, like, that's not a bad match. It's a pretty good match.
Oh, yeah.
I think Cobra's been very much on form recently. Obviously, he had a pretty good match with me. Had a great match on Riot, the Triple Threat. I'm sure you've watched it. Got matches of the, like, I don't know, like the match of the quarter, I suppose, with the power rankings.
Yeah.
Now he's had like it was a good match, bad ending, not ideal ending, I suppose, but like, that's OCW for you. It's 90% how you react to something, 10% what happens. Yeah, exactly. So next we have a K. D'Angelo promo, not a video talking promo, just a normal.
Yeah, that's my takeaway from this. I was really disappointed this wasn't a garden video.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't expect everything. It was only short as well. You can read the show. It's KD being mysterious, you know, it's whatever. Then we had a Turmoil rookie, Max Edwards, Joshua Tucker. I think it turned into a bit of a brawl. You know, I like to see rookies feuding. It's fun. Makes me happy a little bit. Just a shame Josh Tucker's terrible at the game, but you know, that I was terrible at the game.
That's how it goes.
Everyone's terrible at the game at the start, so yeah. It's fun. Need more rookies on Turmoil, and then just follow Salami Kane, you know, do what he did.
Need more rookies everywhere.
Yeah, I would.
Not just Turmoil.
I would agree. I would very much agree. So then we had another promo. It was the new introduction of the the X division title. Yeah, you know, this is an insult. I am incredibly offended.
Yep.
I am cancelling.
That was the idea.
I am cancelling my subscription to the OCW network. There we go. So
that's a little too far. I should have kept you guys in. I pushed too far.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't mind the X Division title. It's probably what, like, if we don't have a light heavyweight title from now, we might have it back, because I know what you were saying earlier. It's like a weight limit. I think there's been a lot of discussion about this as well. A weight limit doesn't really help the Riot division at the minute. So yeah, it's just it very much opens up your options.
Well, the X is the original light heavyweight. It was a weight limit belt,
right? Yeah.
Back in the day. So I mean, having it called X, you can squeeze out of the weight limit.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
we'll see what ends up happening, because Kent is very much against Dupree as Booker is very much against me bringing back Kent, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, when I think of X,
if I rack up a couple wins,
yeah,
I might be able to bring it back. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think with the X, obviously with X as well, you think of like the X division, like TNA, you think of like flippy guys. So like, it's obviously the connection is kind of always going to be there. But I wouldn't mind a non-weight limit, another title, because I remember like when I had the light heavyweight title going into Lucian, I didn't have really any light heavyweight options other than Cobra, and
I
think
a lot of people were tied up,
and that was that was kind of like a bit of a quick who can I face for this title to make it feel I was gonna say important. Like Cobra wasn't really anybody at that point, but I think we definitely made it feel important for a little bit, which is why I think quite a few people were upset about the fact that he pretty much lost it and kind of undermined that. So I mean, but again, there's not really much you can do about that. So we just got to move on and deal with it and root for Cobra September to remember anyway. Then we had a backstage promo. It was Ashley Moore and I think Zoe Cole, which is I believe Russ Salt. I've not really.
I believe it's supposed to be Russ' sister.
Yeah, maybe. I wouldn't know. I mean, I think I saw the match on Riot where there was kind of a bit of a after match shenanigan. I mean, more women's feuding, fair enough. I feel like Ashley Moore's future investment briefcase has kind of been thrown to the wayside at the minute. It doesn't really feel very important. It doesn't feel like she's credible, which I'm not a fan of, because I really like Ashley Moore when she was like the super heel. Like I thought, oh, she's won the future investment briefcase now. Like she's literally the perfect person.
Coming out party.
Yeah, she's the perfect person to ruin Valkyrie's title win. Like I was very much.
It was just after their feud as well, right?
Yeah, it was. Correctly. Yeah, it was. It was like, oh, fuck it, it's Ashley. Of course, it's Ashley. Like, and then she didn't cash in.
Yeah.
And then she kind of, I think, lost her momentum. Now she's turned babyface. I'm not really a fan of the babyface Ashley Moore. I prefer the heel. But I think it's that thing where if you feel like you've exhausted all your options with the character and you want to take another direction, then I think all power to you. As long as you make it engaging, I suppose. And definitely a feud with a new woman in Zoe is probably a decent way to at least get on the right track to, I guess, bringing back that momentum and making yourself feel credible, I'd say. Anything to add?
No, I think you summed it up really well.
Yeah.
I think this feud is also, it can be a little bit of watch this hand while I still have the briefcase in the other. So we'll see what ends up happening.
Yeah.
It could be a little bit of misdirection. It could be straight up. We don't know, but that's the beauty of it.
That I would be very much into that idea of her basically just double crossing everyone. That would be fun. So we've got now the tag team title ladder match between the Uncrowned and CQC. I thought this match was a lot of fun to play.
It was fun to watch.
Yeah.
And I just want to say I was very impressed when I realized, because I didn't notice until someone pointed it out in the viewing party, this was actually a forward.
Yeah,
because you had to work around the game.
Yeah, of course, because we're not allowed nice things. Nice things are banned in this game, so we had to. We there wasn't really a workaround. We had to do a fatal 4-way. I think that.
But I was super impressed. It never seemed like that was the case.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely tried our hardest to make sure I didn't accidentally punch Doc, but like it
happened once.
There was one point in the match I remember that sticks out to me immediately. Then when I ducked a close, Quartz ducked my. Or something like someone went under, and then I accidentally speared Doc, so it that worked in that sense.
Yeah.
That was fun. I think there was a lot.
That was the one time you guys hit each other.
Yeah,
that was
exactly. And I think that's kind of a credit to all the handlers in the match, like Doc, Quartz, Cole. They're obviously going to be good. Like you put these people in a ring, and they're probably going to have a pretty fun match. I think as well, with ladder matches, there's always going to be botch moments. There was definitely I think it was 2 times I dived off the ropes and Russ just completely no-sold it, and I think there was a time where Doc ran up the ladder and like just completely missed quarters. But like for every time that happened, there was the
you got something crazy. Yeah.
Doc jumping off the top rope, spearing quarters onto a ladder, or there was Doc springboarding in and saving the match for everybody. Yeah, so it was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
It especially for ladder matches, like 15 minutes I think the match actually ended up going, but like plus entrances are about 20. That's a pretty decent length for a ladder match, especially.
Yeah, you guys learned the trick of working the title down a little bit during the match before you can take it down.
Yeah.
Which I'm a huge fan of, because it takes so much time off the back end of the match.
Yeah. I think with that, the one criticism I did feel like, as like watching the match, it didn't really feel like Uncrowned were ever going to win. We didn't really look in control at any point, because I think CQC hit a finisher quite early on. I think Cole hit a finish on Doc, but we never actually hit a finish. I think there was a lot of times when we could have like.
I didn't even realize, but you guys had a bunch of big spots.
Yeah.
So I would.
Yeah.
Especially in a ladder match, I don't think it's as big of a deal if you hit a finish.
Yeah, I think I would agree.
I didn't even notice till you pointed it out.
Yeah. The Black Phoenix off the ladder was a fun like moment for me to basically get back at Quartz. That was quite nice.
Yeah. It was definitely cool. And then he came back and he did one on the ground.
Yeah.
Like, this is how you do it. That was a cool moment.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I didn't give my match a rating, but if I would, it would be 7 out of 5. What did you think?
Yeah, this was really close to being number 3, but I have it at number 4.
Okay. Yeah.
Just because I think the top 3 ended up being the top 3.
Yeah, I will actually go back on my word and I'll give this a 1 out of 5 because Spider came out at the end and they had a little reunion. So I hated every minute of it.
we had to close out the year with a little bit of. We were gonna do that either way.
Yeah.
We were gonna have a little TTT curtain call.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure
whatever had happened.
I'm sure Cassidy would be able to make it.
Yeah, we were begging him to come out, but there are no 4-person peek behind the curtain. There are no 4-person celebrations. And he had what he had later on.
Yeah, I think there is. I think there's the one that you can do in like an 8-man tag, right? Surely.
Is there? I never looked. I was working with Yake on putting this together because Rust had no idea this was gonna happen.
Right. Yeah.
Unless Yake told him without me knowing.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
He said there wasn't any he could find.
Yeah, I didn't know this was happening either, to be fair. So, and I hated every second of it.
That's the point.
Yeah, but I think you were supposed to, especially with Spider coming out in the new jacket, the new
belt,
look,
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just get off my screen, pretty much.
Exactly. That's what you try to do as the heel.
Yeah, Spider's got that X-Pac heat, pretty much. I think that's why we can draw.
I hope not. X-Pac heat is bad.
So then we had, was this the
Court and Dupree segment?
That was it. It wasn't the Time Splitters one. It was just like a normal Dupree sat in his office with
exactly.
Court Marshall. One of my favorite promos on Riot at the minute. I was actually quite sad to not see him on the show. Especially when you think about it, like Court, Jess, people like them, like let me think as well. Code wasn't on the show. Bobby wasn't on the show. Trey wasn't on the show.
Code was on the show with that little segment.
Yeah, okay.
Later
Yeah,
on.
he was on the show, but he didn't have a match on the show, so he wasn't really on.
Yeah,
I know what you mean, and I like this was at least fun to read. I would have liked to see Court have a match at Summercide, but obviously I don't think there's never going to be room for everybody on the show. So this was a nice way to. Sorry.
I'm interested to see where this goes.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Because it seems to be setting up a Court B17, or maybe everyone sort of getting into the mix for the world title picture, which is always. Cool.
I think everybody. I think Court and B17 were already in the title scene. I think KD kind of forced his way in and won that number one contenders match and got the match. I think we can probably talk about that later with the H2O match, but Court obviously just. He's not got the briefcase anymore. That's fun. That'll be fun. Maybe B17 cashes it in. I don't really know the exact rules on that, but that could be interesting. I think it's definitely something to watch.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So then next we had. We got Spider again.
getting arrested.
Getting arrested, yeah. I mean, I not really anything to say about this. It's just kind of Spider being Spider.
This is Jay promo.
Yeah.
Jay was very upset with me winning, so he had me arrested afterwards. And he put this RP together, and I thought it was hilarious, so I gave it my blessing.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it was funny at least. Then we
It's sort of me getting my comeuppance for all my my shenanigans.
Yeah, I mean, you'll get your comeuppance at September to remember. Hopefully, that's the plan.
We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. So then we have a Clark effect. Is it? It's kind of it's just Clark effect, Summercide, Empress. I think. Yes, yeah. There was a bit of a tease of Empress having a new partner or something going back into it. Yeah, so this kind of built into the big reveal during the match later in the show, which we will talk about that when we get to it. It was just I quite like the Empress character. I think she swears too much. I think that's been a criticism for like a lot.
Swearing's the best part.
I would say for a woman that's supposed to be Japanese, she doesn't really like have a Japanese voice in terms of like how I read her writing.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, whether that's intentional or not, I don't know. I think with Empress, she's got that loose cannon kind of like vibe to her, where you like, she's very much a like volatile member of the roster. She's very valuable. I think she's very good. She's been a very good foil to Valkyrie over the past few months. So
she's actually very reminiscent of Matsuda.
Yeah, I mean
with the swearing and the extravagant attires and all this kind of stuff. Very, very reminiscent of that. But she's sort of making her own path, which is really cool as well.
Exactly, especially considering she got a lot of kind of comparisons to like other Japanese wrestlers like Asuka and stuff like that. So it is good to see.
Oh yeah, once she made that shift from being very generic, I think, because Empress seems to be very creative.
Yeah.
Everything she does is super cool, super awesome.
Yeah. I'd have to agree with you. She's very much like a lead contributor in terms of like video content, so it's always like fun to watch. Then we have this is a Drago promo. This was what I was talking about earlier, where this is the serious side of Drago that I personally prefer, but it's like for his Drago serious side to be so like intense, you have to have the non-serious side be so jovial. So it kind of works. Especially going into a main event like this. But for me, I would have just had this promo on the show and maybe not bothered with the P3 Bonanza, or at least toned it down a little bit. But like, that's kind of personal preference on my end.
I think the best way to handle that is just to think of it as a different Drago.
Yeah. I mean, that is definitely
just to
one way.
Sort of separate the characters out.
I think if there was ever I don't think Drago really has a split personality going on, but like that's kind of, if you want to look at it that way, that is kind of like, okay, so out of the ring, I'm this happy-go-lucky guy. Boom, bell rings. Okay, now I'm going to kill you, pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much what happens. So
I think that helps with it.
Yeah. It's a good promo. Dramatic. Fair enough. Then we have the world title match, OCW world title, KD Angelo versus H2O. I thought this was actually a really fun match. Probably, for my money, KD's best match of the season.
Of the season for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really think of any big moments on the show. I think it was nice to see H2O actually get a defense under his belt. I think the most important kind of part of this match was probably the post-match angle, where KD actually fully turns heel on his friend and attacks him after the match. So it'll be fun.
They did a very good job of teasing the cash-in.
Yeah.
Especially on the viewing part.
Yeah.
Because we had no idea of what had happened with Corey.
Yeah, because B17.
So we were all expecting him to come out.
Yeah,
Yep.
and B just turned up with the briefcase, and then there was just nothing in the on the viewing party. At least I think when you read the web show, it does make a little bit more sense. But
and it gives it away,
Yeah.
and I think that was very, very good use of the viewing party. Excuse me.
I mean, whether that was intentional or not is probably another thing. But yeah, I can see where you're coming from. So I think there's not really much to say about that match. I think I gave it. Oh, I did give it. I gave it 4 out of 5. Like it wasn't anything crazy good. Not as good as Doc versus H2O last pay-per-view before Consequence, but a very, very good match where H2O looked good and got his title defense. So I mean, not really much more I could ask for. And then obviously there was a good angle afterwards, so keeps me interested. I wasn't particularly invested in KD Angelo's being a threat to H2O's title, so like, you know, with the new angle, I think it's definitely just going to help out. I'm not particularly sure where this leaves B17 with the briefcase. Like, I'm not quite sure where he's going to slot in yet, but it's definitely very interesting. It's like you've got
the threat of B17 is there.
Yeah, you've got a new face in the Riot main event now in KD, who's actually fully turned heel on his friend. So there you go. That's kind of fair enough. Then we have a H2O alt promo of Furiosa. It's kind of just like standard Furiosa stuff. Like, we've kind of heard this promo before. I've not really got much to say about it. It's kind of just normal. Well, it's not normal because it's Heather Angelo, but it's like standard for her. Yeah. So I think we can just kind of move on from that. We have I think this is the finale of Sensational Time Splits, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it is. It's basically just President Mugen, President whatever. If you want to go and read I would probably recommend it. I would probably recommend reading this. You know, if that's kind of what you're into.
If it's your cup of tea.
Yeah. I mean, it's just what it is. I think we can just move on. Hopefully, we can get it again next year. Then we have so this was the aftermath, kind of what we didn't see on the viewing party, where B17 comes down and basically doesn't cash in because he feels bad for H2O. I didn't really get this. Like, I think
it was more of a sarcastic, like, I could end it, but I'm not going to. That's how I read it.
I think I also read it like that, but in terms of the B17 character at this point, like, he's very, you can kind of tell, like, he's very much trying to take shortcuts in amongst like the Riot ranks. So you would have thought he would have cashed in here, but like maybe it's some sort of technicality where he can't actually cash in or something. But like, it's fair enough.
Makes me want to tune into Riot.
I mean, you don't read the shows, but Next we have Rex versus Malu for the CCW title. I was a very, very big fan of this match. I thought this was match of the night. Actually, before we say anything, where did you rank the OCW World title match?
That was my... Did I already rank a number 4?
No, you put the tag team title match at number 4.
Yes, so that would probably be my... I think I ranked something wrong earlier.
Okay.
I would probably put that at 3 then.
Okay.
I would probably put that one at 3.
I mean, that's fair enough. So, speaking of very, 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 very good matches, we now can move on to the CCW title match between Rex and Malu. This, for me, was match of the night. Probably a match of the year contender. I would say a match of the year contender.
Same.
It was like... This wasn't, for me, this wasn't just like a good WWE 2K match. This was just a good wrestling match. This was the story of the match was perfect for these two guys. It was wrestled at a frantic pace. There was never really any break in action. There was Rex just giving it to Malu at the start, like putting Malu in a place that he's not been this entire season. He elaborates on this later in the show. It was just a lot of Rex matches just seem to flow perfectly. He seems to just get the perfect animation at the perfect time every single time, which I've not quite mastered yet. I'm not quite sure how he does it, but
It takes
but
time.
I have so much fun watching Rex matches. I always have fun. I just as soon as you hear that music and he comes out, you know it's just going to be like an absolute war, and it was. There was
the story of the match was great. He came out with like a full head of steam. He was trying to put Malu away early, and then Malu just lumbered back at the end.
And it worked with story. Malu used his experience. Malu just weathered the storm, came back into it.
Exactly.
Hit the power slam. Rex kicked out. I was like, oh, this is real. This is Rex. This is what we wanted to see. Rex hit his finish back. Malu kicked out without even using Brazil, I think, from what I remember. Then Rex couldn't hit his finish again because Malu kept reversing. There were so many times I was like, come on, Rex, you can do this. You can do this. I knew, like, I was fully behind Rex the entire match, like, because I think...
Well, he struggled if I remember correctly, he struggled to hit it the first time. There were a lot of finisher reversals.
Exactly. And it fit perfectly. And I think eventually he does hit it. Like, he gets the... No, I remember what happened. Malu goes for the power slam, and he gets the second reversal, and it's like, oh, this is it, surely. And then he uses Brazil, and just like there was a lot of high drama. It was. I had a ball. I had a ball watching this match. I don't think Rex, even though I felt like Rex needed to win this going into it, I don't think he suffered at all after the match. I think we can probably get a third now, because it's 1-1 in the series. So I'm hoping that's the way they go, but I'm not quite sure if they can probably top this match. We'll see. Like their first match was really good. The first match on Riot was really good. This match was great. It was fun.
A lot of the time, I like to say Malu exposes a lot of the guys he faces in matches, but with this match, I think Rex went in looking like the top turmoil guy, and he came out like cemented in that position with how well he did against. I
think he's been cemented for a while.
But like even more, if possible.
Exactly. I would agree. I gave this match 5 out of 5. I think this was
this is my far and away. This is my number one match of the night.
I think I've probably got a list of 4 or 5 match of the year contenders. This definitely goes on to it. This is probably. I'd probably have to go back and have a look at the other, the ones that I've got in my head, but it's probably it's up there. I had a lot of fun.
It's gonna make a run at it for sure. Even though it's so early in the year too.
I mean, it's not particularly. We've only got one more pay-per-view left. It's definitely.
Well, I mean, we usually do match of the year at the awards show.
Oh, okay. What? So is it like is it not for like match of like season 14? Is it just match of like 2019?
Yeah, that's how we've done it in the past. I don't know if it's gonna. You never know with if we're gonna whenever we do get the awards.
I would have to agree with you there. Please don't kill me, Jay. Okay. Next.
Just say I said it.
We have Justin Jest backstage. This was just a little, I think, promo with Ty. I think they probably. I'd have to double check the cards again. I don't actually. I'm not sure why this happened. I was going to say maybe it was something to like build another match. It's potentially it's possible we could get this match, but
maybe they're trying to book that S2 ticket.
Maybe I'd be into it. I think Jess needs another feud. Like after
needs something. Yeah,
you go on.
I was just talking. I just saw Capo leave the Discord, and I was just talking with Mugen and Drago about it, and I was saying how I'd love to see Just do something after that. Capo.
Yeah, I mean, he had a lot of decent momentum after that match, and he's not really capitalized on it, in my opinion. So there's probably a step in the right direction.
Well, I think he's also had real life stuff. I think he was in the middle of a huge move, so now he's finally done with that.
Exactly. I think he kind of finished up with that, like, sort of after Lucian. So hopefully, season 15, that could be his year, but you never know. Yeah. You never know. So this was at least a step in the right direction, probably, for me. Sparks just like becoming more of a presence on Turmoil is always nice, especially with his partnership with B. We've kind of gone over that. Then we have the Empress versus Valkyrie match. I didn't think this was as good as their first one.
There was my big gripe with this match is I never felt there was a point where Valk wasn't in control.
I would have to agree. I think this felt like a normal match with weapons. It didn't feel like an Extreme Rules match. One I think the main point of discussion here was the Cass angle, with Cass coming out. I did not like. There was a lot of hints leading up to it. I didn't pick up any of them, and it was a massive shock. Cass is there. He was there. He was on the show. It's just
mind games.
Yeah. The mind games were like to the max. Like you have Cass's last appearance on Riot. Like last time we saw him, it was a promo, and Valkyrie was in that promo, and they had a little dialogue. I remember it was something like Valkyrie saying, "If you ever want to come back, the door's basically open to basically have a intergender match." And Empress coming out with Cass basically having him like under a spell. Like it looked like I initially thought it was just a guy in a Cass mask. I was like,
and his that would have been a neat angle too.
I was like, oh, that's pretty good, but it was actually the Cassidy Hayes.
It was actually Cass,
the guy that retired a few months ago. I think that was probably the best part of the match. What was I going to say? Cass's return probably could have been saved for another time, but like in terms of like being shocked,
it was a big reveal, but it was
being
cool.
like a shock factor of like I did not see this coming at all. Like I think there's always room for like if Cass ever wants to make an in-ring return, that will also be a massive moment if like we finally get to see. Like knowing Cass, I don't know him too well. I know you probably know him a lot better than I do. We just have to see. You never know.
Yeah, the hopes aren't high because this next game doesn't look great, but we'll see. So after I will say I gave this 3.5 out of 5. Valkyrie picked up obviously the win. I kind of saw it's coming, but like with the especially with the post match angle where Cass just kicked the shit out of Valk and they took her off. That's kind of a pretty big moment, and just to see where it goes. I think we said earlier, it just kind of shows how there's not really anybody in the women's division ready to step up. I have this as I know I rated something else as my number 5, but this is the real number 5. Move everything up above that one.
I think we'll probably,
because
I would say we'll probably go over your like order at the end, just in case people can't really keep up unless someone's been writing it down.
yeah, for sure. Because I haven't been able to keep up either.
Exactly. If you can't keep up, then who can? So next we have a AC Cobra promo. This kind of was more about this was more of a serious side of Cobra, I will say.
I think this was more what you were looking for. This is
the Cobra that I really like. He was very, like, you could tell he was very determined and fueled by the light heavyweight championship that he needs. Like his character, you can tell he needs this title. And it was good. It was good. It very much plays into the Cobra character of like the doubters, and it kind of shows how, like, especially at the start, like it looked like he was going to let it get to him, but then he's overcoming it again. And if Cobra wins the title back, that's probably actually a pretty neat story arc for Cobra, basically to prove to himself that he can't just take what he got for granted, and he needs to actually stay consistent with this. Like he needs to prove that wasn't just a one-time thing. So I'm optimistic for the rematch. Hopefully it'll be good. Hopefully, but it's comp. We'll just see what happens. I'm hoping Cobra wins, but I think quite a lot of people are, so it's fair enough. Next we had the Code Jackman video promo with Jet Draven. I mean, it wasn't obviously like anything ridiculously, out of the water crazy, but like it was pretty good for what it was. It was like sets up a nice feud with Code and Jet, two probably the guys that need to step up on Turmoil, and it will definitely help either of them become a
feuding is always good. You can never
feuding is always good on Turmoil. There you go. Write that one down. Rookies
everywhere, not just Turmoil.
Yeah, exactly. So it's nice to hopefully get another guy built up on Turmoil. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. So then we had a Rex promo. This was what I was talking about, how Rex was basically demanding a third match, which is I can fair enough. It's 1-1. This is probably going to be your main event for September to remember, I would imagine, unless
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I would not be surprised at all, which is really, really fun, nice to see, considering the state that the title was in, previously, Malu.
Before.
I wasn't particularly into the idea of Malu coming back at Lucian and winning the title, but you can't deny that Malu looks impossible to beat in a minute, and he's made that title feel very, very important.
It's definitely brought a stability to it.
I would agree. So it's just good Rex stuff. You can read it yourself. It's great. So then we had the main event, which was Drago Caesar versus Nate Ortiz for the Battle of the Titans number 2. I was a little bit disappointed in this match, I will say.
Yeah, this was weaker than the first match.
I'm not surprised. I've not seen the first match. I tried to go out and watch it, but I couldn't. I couldn't find it. I think.
Oh, is it one of the ones that got taken down with the archive?
It might have been, but I mean, for me, it was just kind of a standard Drago Caesar match, which isn't a bad match, but it's a Drago's in control pretty much the entire match.
Yeah, there wasn't, with the last match, there were points where I thought Nate was going to take it. I didn't. That wasn't here. Unfortunately, I love Nate, I love Theo, but I didn't see him taking it at any point.
No, I think it was another one of them ones that suffered from being a no holds barred match. There was one pretty neat spot that I remember, which was the spear into the uppercut, which was really fun, which was really out of nowhere. But other than that, it was just kind of Drago dominating. I think he hit the upside down jungle at one point, which was good, which was fun, and he just ended up picking up the win. I think it's kind of a little bit anticlimactic for me, but by no means I don't think it was a bad match. Just kind of not what.
No
just not what I expected, really. So, I think I gave this match.
This is probably my.
Sorry, what did you say?
My number 2. This is probably my number 2, but I mean.
I gave this a 3.75 out of 5. It kind of wasn't what I was expecting, but it was still good. It was good.
Better than average.
So if you want to just any closing final thoughts, and if you want to give your
this is a really good show. Overall, I think it's one of the better shows this season.
Yeah.
Let me just go through and get the correct order for you guys for my match rankings. So for number 1, I had the Rex vs. Malou match. Number 2 was Drago vs. Nate. Number 3 was KD versus H2O. Number 4 was the tag match. Number 5 was Empress vs. Valk. 6 was the triple threat. 6 was the Estella Fugaz versus Blaine, and 7 was the triple threat.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably pretty fair enough, but I think I'll agree with you. This was a very good show. Probably my favorite show of the season.
Yeah.
It wasn't short, but it was
a tight show.
A perfect length. It was digestible. All the matches were fun, pretty much. Yeah. So I think
it was very tightly put together. There was very little wasted time in terms of matches or segments. It was, everything had its place.
I think that's pretty much all we've got to cover. So thank you for listening to me going on about whatever the hell I want to go on about. Thank you, Spider, for joining me on this for this special edition of the Final Word. And until next time, I think that'll pretty much do us. So, bye-bye.
Bye.